Yeah, I'm with y'all. Just give me a minute to just get everything loaded up. And this is the American Aborigine Wars, aka Indian Wars Part 2. Um, let me cut this off. Nonetheless, what's up, my brother Luna Loopy? What's up? Wallace Carroll, what's up? Let me know whether or not y'all can hear me. No doubt, Wallace Carroll. I'm gonna definitely check it soon as I get a chance. All right, my brother. I don't mind it. Sometimes, look, you gotta understand too. My YouTube channel is linked to my email, so I be getting bombarded with YouTube videos sometime, and then like I gotta go all the way back. So look, if I'm going to go back and I'm going to definitely look for your email. But if by chance, if I do miss it by chance, it's not me trying to ignore nobody email. Just keep emailing me. Because this shit is important. So I don't mind if you keep emailing. You know what I'm saying? Like real talk, I don't mind. It's not even about, you know what I'm saying, about it's about, because I know a lot of you guys, you trying to really find yourself. You're really trying to find out what the hell is going on, you know, or what happened. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, I mean, I definitely don't mind you guys keep emailing me. I don't have no problem. Like I said, just like I check all my comments or whatever, I always check my email. So just let me know whether or not y'all can hear me, or you okay, all right, you can't hear me. Okay, all right, that's what's up, yo. All right, so like I said, this is part 2 to the American Aborigine War, aka the Indian Wars. Holito, see Craig. All right, so let's get with this, man. All right, so we started out, well, when I last ended, we was in the 1600s. Now we're moving on to the 1700s, all right? So Indian wars and battles, all right? And just remember, I'm just going to read this little what's the name, just so you can understand. Matter of fact, you know what? Nah, it's down here. Sorry, let me see. All right, so it say the Indian wars and battles of the 17th century are centered around the eastern states. Okay, eastern states. It say where the where colonists from Europe first settled. All right, so let's go back down 1700. All right, so it's the Indian wars and battle, Indian tribes discover interesting information and facts about how the Indian wars and battles. The history timeline of Indian wars and battle provide a list detailing key conflicts, events, dates, and conflicts, wars, battles in the 1700s. A comprehensive list of Indian wars and battles. All right, so here we got the Queen Anne War. This part French and Indian between the French and the Spanish colonies allied with the Wabanaki Confederacy against the British colonies allied with the Iroquois Confederacy, the Muskogee, the Creek, the Chickasaw, and the Yamasee tribes. All right. So we got here 1711. We got the Takora War in northern Carolina. Takora tribe led by King Hancock was defeated by James Moore and native Indian allies. All right. So then you got the French. You got the French and Fox War, 1712 to 1716. Begin the Kickapoo, and the Mascatton attacked the attacked Fort Pontchartrain. All right, so here we got the Yamasee War. The Indian Confederate came close to wiping out the white settlers in the Southern Carolina. All right, so boom, let's deal with this right here. Let's go here. All right, now all we want to show you these fake ass fucking Yamasees, man. All right, so let me read this. All right. So the history of the Yamasee will include details of the cause, reasons, and summaries, the dates of the years of the Indian Wars, when the war started, and when the conflict ended. Summary definition, Yamasee. I don't need to read that. All right, let's go. All right. Fuck is they showing this up here? I don't want to see that shit. All right, so Yamasee War summaries and definition. Yamasee War summary and definition. The Yamasee War 1715, 1600s was a conflict fought in the South Carolina between the Carolinas and the Virginia militias, okay? The British American colonists, they say, and their Native Indian allies, okay, against the Yamasee Native American tribes, supported by the Aborigines, Wakha, and the Santee tribes. The cause of the Yamasee Wars was an encroachment of white settlers and colonists in Indian territory and dispute over highly lucrative fur trades. Trading posts and plantations was raided. 7% of South Carolina white population was killed. A collaboration of troops and war supplies from neighboring colonies resulting in the defeat of Yamasee. Many defeated Indians escaped into Florida. Now, understand this, man. Understand this, y'all. Understand this, right? All of they lying to you the whole time with all this shit, man. Because they even after the trail of this, they want you to believe, oh, they put all the Indians on a reservation or whatever. They took 2,000 people and marched them all to fucking Oklahoma, and we assumed that was all of the so-called people who was here. Even though on the maps we could see, even on the census we could see much more. All right, so where was I? It say many defeated Indians escaped to Florida, where they joined the runaway black slaves. Now, what was the runaway black slaves? The Gullah. Remember, understand this. And you guys gotta fucking use your brain, okay? The Gullah was already in South Carolina, because when DeSoto came there, he called them. They named themselves after the Omichi River. This is where you get the Geechee from. Now check this out. It says, hold up. It say many defeated Indians escaped to Florida, where they joined. The runaway blacks was other Indians that was warring with them. So don't let these people think, because what they doing is this. Now it's obviously black looking Seminole. So for them to cover up the fact that you're not an Aborigine is only to tell you, oh, them were slaves that was in Africa, them were slaves that was in the South or whatever, and they escaped. Get the fuck out. Them was Indian fucking slaves, bro. They was Indian fucking slaves. Do not let these people keep lying to us. All right. It says, it says they joined runaway black slaves and other Native Indians, other black Indians, okay, other black Aborigines, to form what is known as the Seminole tribe. So the Yamasee became a Seminole. The Yamasee also was a Gullah and Geechee as well. Okay, these are just different terms that they're using for them, all right? So they say fast facts about the Yamasee who fought the Yamasee War. They say, when did the conflict start and when did the conflict end? What was the cause of the Yamasee War? What was the significance of the Yamasee War? What were the results and effects of the Yamasee War? Interesting history facts about the Yamasee War. Now, like I said, this is just one perspective on it. This is not an in-depth perspective on everything. This is just one perspective of it, all right? So his name, conflict, Yamasee War, where was he at? South Carolina. Now, where the fuck did they tell you that the Geechee was already at? In South Carolina. So when they came there, they tried to pull the same shit, take their land. When they started warring with them, all they did was go further into the Gulf. Now remember, some of these Indians was already enslaved. So when they tell you the black runaway slave, they're talking about, remember, understand this. That term black is only denoted to declassified Indians, okay? Now I'm starting to understand this shit. That's why they tell you Civitan O2s or whatever. And that's why they tell you you're not Negro, black, or color, because them are all terms that was put to denote you, to make you property. So, all right, so let's say combatants of the Yamasee, Carolina militia and Virginia militia, consistent of British Americans, colonists supported by the Catawba and the Cherokee allies, who changed sides from 1715 to 1717. It say, respectively, combatants in the war, Yamasee War. Yamasee Native American tribes supported the other Indian allies, included the OC, the Waha, and the Santee. Result: defeated Native Indians, many of whom escaped. Now they telling you right here, but see, listen, to keep this lie going, they got to confuse you. Because like I said, we're just going to go right back here real quick, all right? Just bear with me, all right? I'm sorry to keep showing you guys this, but, you know, I know people attention spans is not very long, okay? So, let me see something. Gotta show this is repetitive. How do you work things in your brain through repetition? All right. So for people who not properly gathering this information, I gotta keep putting the same shit out here. Okay. Smithsonian Institute. This is the Naya article. It say, but there lies a puzzle. Modern Native Americans closely resemble the people of China, Korea, and Japan. But the oldest American skeletons do not. Say archaeologist, paleontologist James Chatter, lead author and study of an owner of the applied paleoscience. All right, so now he go down. He said a small number of American specimens discovered so far have shorter faces and longer and narrower skulls than later Native Americans, more closely resemble the modern people of Africa, Australia, and South Pacific Islands. So now look, if they telling you that the first Americans was Africans and Australians and South Pacific Islands, then where the fuck did they go? So okay, it was only 100 of them here, and they just somehow disappeared when we got all these images. When we got all these, well, this is actually John Horse right here, all right? This is their images of John Horse. Now, what did I do to make what did I do with this, right? Let me see something. I think it's right here. Look, this is the image they give you, the Great Seminole Nation of Oklahoma. Look, this is what they give you of John Horse. Now let's read a little bit of this shit. All right, John Horse, aka also known as Juan Kabbalah or John Kawaya, John Kawaya, and Gopher John. And I heard Gopher John before. They say was born in 1812 in Florida of a black mother, meaning only thing it meant that her mother was original Indian, but she was declassified to being black. Okay, and saying an Indian father. Okay, remember, wasn't no Indian father. Remember what the Smithsonian Institute told you that the first Americans looked like. Okay, where the fuck did these people go? Where did they go? Now, even when you go to the article right here, let me show y'all something, man. Let's get down and dirty with this shit, man. Let's get down and dirty with this, man. We got to get down and dirty with this, man, because people like that, their attention span is not very long, man. So let me get down and dirty with this. All right. How many people was here before Columbus? All right. Now, I've read this plenty of times. These are the images they're giving you. Now, we just heard the Smithsonian Institute say that none of these people look like Africans, Australians, or South Pacific Islands. So why the fuck does they keep showing us these people? Why? If they tell you that the first Americans resemble, here we go again. I don't even need to go. I don't even need to read that. It says longer and skulls than later Native Americans. It's a more resembling the modern people of Africa, Australia, and South Pacific Islander. Now check this out. And where we at? We're right here. None of these people look like no fucking Africans, man. None of them. I don't care how dark they look. None of them look like no Africans. They look like Asians. And then they Asians with straight 6 ether hair. Well, some people don't believe in the word 6 ether or 9 ether, but fuck it. We get the understanding of it, right? So now look, here we go. The Americas of 1492. So this is for any of you fuckers out there who always claim y'all got so much scholarship and you believe everybody, all right? Now I say nearly all scholarly estimates, okay, nearly all scholarly estimates of the New World, 1492, population fall between the count of 2 arts and anthropologists. So it's only 2 of them. Alfred Corby, 1934 estimates 8.4, which know that's a motherfucking lie. And Henry Dobbins estimate 1966, an estimate of 112.5 million. Now look, let's take a look at this area right here. In this area right here, where they telling you all this is 50 million people in this area. 13.5 plus 13 plus 37.5. Actually, that is 51 million people. All right. I'm saying I'm not naive like that. Okay, so I know that it's no way that he can really find and give a correct, accurate date to how many people was actually here. So let's say, for example, let's say, okay, it wasn't 51 million. Let's cut it down to let's cut it down to at 20% of that. All right, we can say it was 20 million people. All right. Well, I said 20%. My math is off. Don't even worry about it. All right, but let's say it was anywhere from 10 to 20 million people in this area right here. Because we just read how long they said the power to the nation was 16,000 miles. From fucking California to New York is only like 3,000 miles. So where the fuck was 16,000 miles at? You understand? Where was 16,000 miles at? Now, like I said, we don't have to believe these numbers, but this give you an estimate of what they was talking about, along with the Smithsonian, telling you how many people here. Now, where the fuck all these people go at? Where they all go? Okay, now let's go back. Let's go back to the work, man. Let's go back. Let me see. Where was I at? I'm still with y'all. Hold up, sorry, people. All right, so it says it's black mother and your father. He was described as 6 feet tall, muscular and powerful built, straight as an Indian. Let's say straight as an Indian. He walked with a self-assured air, regarded as the expert marksman. He could follow up a trail, moonlight at a goblet. It's say over a burnt Perry. It said he was cool under fire. Who the fuck is cool? Only us. Courageous, brave, cunning, shrunken in person. He dressed in seminal in Indian fashion. He wore a brilliant turban. You fuckers don't believe that the people here was wearing fucking turbans. Okay? Everybody wasn't wearing feathers and war bonnets or feather crowns here. He wore a brilliant turban, you assholes, who keep telling you that, oh, nobody here wearing turbans. Oh, that my ancestor wasn't wearing that. This is when homie the clown come out and just start clunking you with the sock. You understand what I'm saying? I gotta put that out there just for the humor, all right? It say hunting shirt gathering, say at the waist, it say with a sash. Sash is like what they be wearing in the karate movies. All right, it say a sash and silver clip on the lapels. It say his leggings were designed with ribbons. It say this is an interesting legend of how John Horse acquired the nickname Gopher John. One day, I heard this shit before, Gopher John. One day in the United Army camp, commanded bought some turtles from John. Bought some turtles from John and saying, ask the youth to keep him supplied with fresh one. Over the next few days, the commander paid for more turtles, thinking that they was being added to the pen. Sorry, I hate this font right here. This font got me reading, got my eyes straining. It said at the end of the week, when the plans were being made for the banquet, it say future and turtle meat. The commander was stunned to find out that from his cook that there was only 2 turtles in the pen. The officers realized that he had been tricked into repeatedly buying the same fucking turtle. Yo, buying the same fucking turtle. I seen this in a Merry Melodies cartoon, aka Warner Brothers and shit. When you got the damn I don't know how old some of you people are in the chat, but if you probably my age, 42, you remember Merry Melodies or you know what I'm saying, WB Warner Brothers, Bugs Bunny and all, right? There was a cartoon in which there was a bulldog, and he used to go around and return the cat. It was a cat that was missing, and he'd return the cat. But what he do is when he returned the cat on the basket had a door and he had a string attached to the cat. So every time he returned the cat and he get his reward, he'll pull a cat back out, and then you know what I'm saying, and then keep doing the same process, right? Now that's crazy. Say he was tricked into buying the same. It said at first angry, then mollified by John ingenuousness. It say he made the youth supply turtle pay for his nickname for nickname him Gopher John, to serve as a constant reminder of his prank. All right. They say as the Seminole leader of the black, there's no black Seminoles. All of the fucking Seminoles was black. All right. What? All of the Seminoles was black. Now look. Now these are the Maroons that was in well hold on, let me see something. Oh, here we go right here. All right. 1763 from Creek, Muskegon. It's a from America, Spanish, Cimarron, Cimarron. They fought against the United troops 1817, 1880, 1818, 1835 through 1842. After which was largely, which they were largely were removed into Indian territory. So we know that the word Seminole came from maroon. The word maroon also, they say runaway slaves, right? But the word maroon is they describing a complexion of people. They describing a complexion of people. What do a penny look like? Maroon. What do chestnut look like? Maroon. You know, they describing a color of people. You understand what I'm saying? The word Seminole, I guess, came out of that. But it tells you that these was also the Gitche and Gawler, right? Now, let me go back to what we was previously reading. All right, so they remember defeated defeated for Native Americans, many of whom escaped to Florida. All right, so look, where would they escape to Florida from? So they was Africans that came home on a ship, and then they somehow, they're not saying that they rebelled. They not, because I would assume that if they were slaves, they rebel. These people are indigenous people who was on their land. So it's a difference from rebelling and being on your land. So they was just fighting because this is their land, and they didn't want them to encroach on their land, like we say in many instances. All right. So it's a history and brief causes of the Yamasee War, political and policies and beliefs. It say, what was the cause of the Yamasee War? We already know. Some of the history and causes of the Yamasee War were dictated by political and policies and beliefs which shaped the historical background to the cause of the Yamasee War. Colonialism in the 1700s, the European brought with them the system of colonialism. It's say primarily to generate income, like what we keep reading. It's say income passed the policy and practices of a power extending control over weaker people or area. So basically, they came here with the already saying we can basically take this shit from them. Culture clash, distrust and hostility grew between the indigenous population and the regions, and the British as the number of newcomers increased, leading to the inevitable culture clash. Specific cause of the Yamasee War. What was the specific cause of the Yamasee War? It's a trade. The British sought dominance of highly lucrative fur trade. So these bastards, like I said, man, they came here to take the shit because they ain't got shit in Europe. They ain't got no fucking abundance of food. They were starving over there. So in the process, they was giving some of the Indians fucking trinkets, and in the process, you joined their forces and sold the rest of your fucking people out. Okay. So it's a plantation. Rice plantations were bringing wealth to the colonists, which was not shared with the Indians who were becoming poorer. Hostility grew between the indigenous population of the regions and the British American over the trade. All right, so look, let's see something. So this is basically, I assume this is all of Yamasee. It's a history and timeline of the Yamasee War. A short history timeline of the Yamasee War provided fast facts and information. All right, so boom. 1700s, Yamasee was a powerful tribe in the Carolinas. Okay, now remember, if they was in the Carolinas already, now hold on, let's say it was a powerful tribe in the Carolinas that established numerous large towns and villages in the area. The principle was, the principle of which was Paco Talago. All right, it'd be North and South Carolina were one colony until 1729. 1712, Yamasee aided the British colonists in the Terra Coastal War in 1712. It says 1715, due to the dissatisfaction. All right, we read that. All right, 1715. It says white traders and their families. 1760. It say traders were slaughtered in Indian towns and trading villages, and general massacre of settlers, trading posts, and plantations took place along the Carolina frontier. The colonists appeared to help the neighboring colony, to say, and collaboration of troops from Virginia. See, they came from Virginia. It say, and war supply. See, they already neutralized the people in Virginia at that point in time. So as they go further, they want to take more land because they bringing more fucking Europeans over here. It says war supplies from neighboring colonies helped the colonists. 1750, the Battle of the Pond. It say the Catawba tribe was defeated and became allies of the British. It say, see, once they defeated you, they use you to help. They use your help. The Battle of Sakahatchee. The Governor Charles Craven led the militia against the Yamasee, who was defeated. All right, 1717. The Cherokee changed sides and became British allies. Okay, all right. So we're gonna get more in depth with it. I just wanted to just touch on that. I'm gonna get more in depth when we go back through it. All right. So here we go. So the Yamasee War. Remember, the Yamasee War was a revolutionary war. Well, hold on. Let me be clear on that. I believe it wasn't. We want to see the Revolutionary War when we go up in date. All right, here we go. Right here. This is the American Revolution War. All right, but here, 1712, you got the Wabanaki New England War, 1722, 1725, aka Father Rail War. It's a Lovewell. It's a war in Maine. All right, 1722, Iroquois surrendered, claimed to the lands south of Ohio River in addition to countries in the Eastern Panhandle. All right, 1728, the Fox War. Now, you're asking yourself this question, right? It's obviously that all these tribes are warring against one. Who they warring against? They warring with the Aborigines who took side with the Europeans. That's it. All of these fucking wars was against the Europeans that came here. It's simple as that. And as you see, now, why would Europeans who not from this land be warring with every tribe that's here? Because they wanted the fucking land and they wanted the resources here because their country is poor as fuck. In Europe, they was eating people. They was putting dead bodies on salt and eating them, eating babies and every fucking thing. You understand what I'm saying? So they didn't have shit. They came here seeing bananas. They came here seeing mangoes. They came here seeing all this abundance of stuff, gold. They ain't got none of that shit in Europe. And this is what this shit been since 1492. Go around the world and take the resources from anything we feel is needed, is necessary, that we can use to make commerce with. We're going to take it and sell it back to the fucking people. And in process, we're going to enslave the people of the land and make them work for their indigenous resources. All right. So where was we at? All right, we 1728. The second Fox War. The Fox War was reduced to 500 by the French troops and Indian allies. The Fox tribe joined the Sauk tribe after defeat. 1729, following the Natchez War. 1716, 1722, and 1723. The Natchez Rebellion, 1729. 1731, when the Natchez Indians massacred 200 people from Fort Roselle. Okay, 1736. The Chickasaw Wars. Okay, now all of these are tribes that we know. Why would the Europeans be warring with all these tribes? Why? Let me just go back to the chat real quick and see what's going on in the chat. We good, y'all? Y'all can still hear me? Y'all can see everything? Just one person, just press one, just let me know we still good. You ain't late, Ghost. You right on time, my brother. Now I say I think 16,000 miles went from Canada to South America. We got somebody here who's thinking. Okay, well, all of y'all thinking, but I'm glad you answered that. Peace, peace. All right, we good. All right, let's go back to it. All right, so where was we at? Where was we at? We was up here. All right. So the Chickasaw Wars, 1736 to 1739. It say in 1752 were fought between the Chickasaw allies with the British against the French and their allies, the Chickasaw and the Illini. This say Illini. It say it's Illini. Illinois. Okay, remember that. So 1744, King George War, 1744 through 1748, part of the French and Indian Wars between the French colonies allied with the Wabanaki Confederacy and the British colonies allied with the Iroquois Confederacy. All right, 1749. All right, Fatherly Latree Wars. All right, I don't know if I pronounced it correctly, but fuck it. 1749 and 1755, also known as the Indian Wars, the Micmac Wars, and the Anglo-Mi'kmaq Wars. All right, so 1754, the French Indian Wars, say known as the U.S. and several in the 7-Year War, part of the French and Indian War between the colonists of France, allies with the Wabanaki Confederacy, the Algonquin tribes, the Abenaki, Malmock, the Mohawks, Lenape, the Ojibwa, the Ottawa, the Shawnee, the Wyandot, and Great British allies with the Iroquois Confederacy, the Onondaga and the Oneida, Seneca, and the Tuscarora, Mohawks and Cayuga, Catawba, and the Cherokee tribes. All right, yo, sorry, y'all. I'm serious. I'm trying to really learn this as I go along. I heard a lot of these tribes, but every time, for the ones that's more common, you know what I'm saying, I got them pretty good, but you know how it is, all right? So the Anglo-Cherokee War, all right, of 1758 to 1761. The Cherokee uprising in present-day Tennessee, okay? Present-day Tennessee. It say Virginia and Carolina, okay? Present-day Tennessee, Virginia, Carolina, okay? So ask yourself this question. Why are they warring with all of the tribes here? They already told you who they was warring with. They was warring with the colonists that came here to take their land. 1763. The Treaty of Paris ends French and the Indian War. Excuse me. 1754, 1763. Canada east of the Mississippi River was added to the British Empire, all right? 1763. Pontiac Rebellion, aka Pontiac War, 1763. They say broke out Pontiac, and we know where Pontiac is at. But I mean, let me see, Ohio River. It say broke out the Ohio River. Now remember, all these rivers connect back to the Mississippi, man. Pontiac, Detroit, Pontiac, Detroit, maybe. All right, the Ottawa, Chief Pontiac. 1720, 1769 led the rebellion of a number of tribes against the British. 1774, December 16th, the Boston Tea Party. Massachusetts patriots dressed as Mohawks Indians protested against the British Tea Act. Okay, now when they did that, that basically made them mad at the indigenous people. All right, the American Revolution, 1775 to 1783. All right, Lord Denmore War, Southern Ohio. Lord Denmore, the governor of Virginia, sent 3,000 soldiers who defeated 1,000 natives following the battle and conflict between American Native Indians, American Aborigines, and the settlers and traders. The Chickamauga. My bad. The Chickamauga Wars, aka the Second Cherokee Wars. All right. Hmm. That's interesting. Cherokee involvement in the Revolutionary War continued to late 1794. Okay. Now, once they was conquered, because remember, they helped fight off the Yamasee too, the fucking Cherokee. You know what I'm saying? I mean, understand that these was not all Cherokee. These are just terms that they use. We know that the word Cherokee is actually a language. The tribe is the Anyanwanya, and you know they never mention none of this stuff. So you got to put it out there. 1777, the Battle of Araskana. Araskana. I guess that's how you pronounce it. All right. Wyoming Valley Massacre, 1778. 1778, Cherry Valley Massacre. 1782, Battle of Big Licks. 1785, the Northern Indian War. 1785 to 1795, the Indiana and Ohio, also known as Little Turtle Wars, referred to Little Turtle. The Americans suffered two humiliating defeats by the Aborigines until they won the Battle of Fallen Timber. I never heard this. The Battle of Fallen Timber. Let me click on this. See what this is about. All right. The Battle of Fallen Timber definition. The history of the Battle of Fallen Timber includes details of the cause, reasons, and summaries, dates. You know what? Let's go to right there. The American Legion was commanded by General Mad Anthony Wayne. It's a force which consisted of 1,700 regular and 1,500 members of the Kentucky militia. So these militia groups was here to fight off the tribes. Okay, the Ku Klux Klan is a militia group. Okay. They say you use your mind and say, well, okay, well, why don't they fuck with the white supremacists? They say who aims was built. No, I'm saying who aim was to build a series of forts between Ohio and the Mummy rivers. Nearly 1,000 warriors of the Aborigine Confederate, led by the Shawnee chief Blue Jacket, and Tucumsum, the Miami warrior chief Little Turtle, and the Delaware Lenape chief the Buckhorn Gala. I guess that's how you pronounce it. It say were waiting to ambush the American. The Native Americans sought camouflage among and stand of trees that had been recently filled with, fled by a tornado, hence the name, the Battle of the Fallen Timber. Less than 100 men on each side died in the brief battle, and Fallen Timber, but the American Legion's victory marked a major turning point in the fight for the Western frontier. The American victory at the Battle of Fallen Timber led a signing of the Treaty of Greenville in 1795. All right, so I don't want to read that. I want to go down. Let me see something. All right, so it's a map of the battle. All right, so this is a map right here of it, I guess. All right, so let's say specific causes of the Battle of Fallen Timber, because these bastards right here wanted the fucking land. That's why they wanted the fucking land, or they wanted something that they had, and that's all it was. It say which were specific cause of the Battle of Fallen Timber. The specific cause of the Battle of Fallen Timber at the local level were land disputes. Everything was land disputes. See, the thing. This is the thing, right? They want you to think that They want you to think that, oh, they took care of the Indians or whatever, the fake Indians. But what do the Smithsonian Institute tell you what the first Americans look like? They resemble Africans, Australians, South Pacific Islanders. What do Black Americans resemble? Africans, Australians, South Pacific Islanders. Where's Black Americans from? They don't know where they from because they are the original 13 colony tribes who've been taught to adapt Christian ways and adapt their cultures. All right. So it's the specific causes, land disputes over Aboriginal homeland. So you fighting over your homeland and your territory increased. It's a series of force was built to house the forces of the United States Army, astonishing and indigenous tribes. Peace negotiations between the American and Native and Aborigines, fell, which led to the Battle of Fallen Timber. It's a history and causes of the Battle of Fallen Timber. What is the cause of the Battle of Fallen Timber? History and causes of the Indian battle were dictated by policy, and we always say that, by political and policies. Policies. What is policies? Who protects the policy? What the fuck is a policy? You fill in the blank. It say and beliefs which shape the historical background to the causes of the Battle of Fallen Timber. All right, we already know culture clash, distrust and hostility grew, and every time you see this, read the same thing, man. It's pretty much the same shit. Pretty much the same shit. All right, let me see something. Can I rock it with this? No, I ain't gonna rock it with that. All right, let's go back. All right, let me see something. Let me click it back. Let me see if you guys still with me. All right, we good? All right. It sound like Nat Turner, Black Hawk War. Yeah, man. Yeah. All right, yeah, let's keep it moving, y'all. Let me see something. What we got? All right, so 1794, we got Nickajack expedition. All right, so we already know Indian wars and battle 1800s. It's a discovering interesting information. Now we don't need to read that. Let's read this. Indian wars or Aborigine wars in Aborigine territory. And Aborigine territory was a vast area of the United Federal Territory, of which Great Plains reserved for the Indians for the 1830s and 1880s. It's an Indian territory eventually became the state of Kansas. All of this shit, man. How the fuck somebody gonna come here and move you off your land and put you in a fucking place where there's nothing at? When you had all this abundance of fucking vegetation and shit, and they know this shit and they still won't fix it. They know this shit and they still won't fix it. But guess what? Your people didn't go there. Your people tapped out, or your people claimed to be, your people said, well, we're going to keep this tradition going verbatim, word of mouth. Okay. So it says, eventually became state Kansas, Nebraska, and Oklahoma by 1907. When Oklahoma was admitted as a state, Indian territory ceased to exist. It says when Oklahoma was admitted as a state, the Aboriginal territory ceased to exist. And this is what you see everywhere. As they come along and conquer the land, they make you fucking either you conform to what they telling you, or either you conform to what they telling you, or they want to enslave you and they're going to war against you. So you telling me out of all these wars, there wasn't no capture, no prisoners? Of course it was. Of course it was. Now we're in the 1800s, all right? So Battle of Sitka. It's a major conflict between Europeans and Alaskan natives, all right? The Siberian expedition. The Battle of Woody Point. All right, 1811. I'm sorry, and this was 1806. Sabine expedition. All right, so Sabine expedition. We have to look up and see what was Sabine expedition. We already know expedition, explore. They're going to explore something. So, all right, so 1811, we got the Tuscaloosa War, Battle of the the Tippecanoe, 1812. It say the War of 1812 begins. The Creek Wars, 1813, 1814. It say erupted in Alabama and Georgia. They say the Creek Indians were defeated by American forces led by the devil Andrew Jackson of Talladega. They say in 1813. In Mukfu in 1814, and in Takapo in 1814. The family of the Horseshoe Blend of Talapasa River when 17 Creeks was killed and drowned. No, I'm sorry. When 750 Creeks were killed and drowned, and 201 whites were killed and wounded. All right. So 1813, the Paria War. They say was a battle between the U.S. Army settlers and the Aborigines tribe of the Potawatomi. They say and the Kickapoo tribe. They say in the Paria area of Illinois. Okay, Illinois. All right. It said their village was attacked and the tribes left the area. What the fuck was they doing to blacks in the fucking South? All right, they didn't just continue this shit, but even when the Ku Klux Klan was formed, even after Reconstruction, what the fuck was they doing to blacks in the South? After they done took their land already. They done took your land and brought more of these devils over here and brought more of them and they infringed. And in the 1800s, you had to make the Great Migration. I mean, well, in the 1900s, you had to make the Great Migration to the north. All right. But they was doing the same shit. They was doing the same shit. All right. So it says their villages were attacked and tribes left the area. Okay. So what did the KKK do? They put a cross in your land and then they will come. It'll be one family there. Okay. Now, the father might have a firearm or a fucking shotgun, but what the fuck is one man going to do against a whole bunch of devils that every night they keep coming back there fucking with you to move you off your land? And these devils ain't supposed to be on his land. Straight the fuck up, like real talk. Like I mean, and like I said, and they hide this history and they don't want you to know. But how do we know this history is dealing with us? Because how do we know this history is dealing with us? Let's see something real quick. Let me go right here. This American Indian right here, man. See this? More American Indians. Where the fuck these people went? Oh, they was enslaved and then lied to and said that they from Africa. That's where they went. That's exactly where they went. And then they gave these fake ass $5 Indians and these Mongoloids their fucking titles. But you know, like I said, man, I'm trying to reclaim my title. I mean, you know what I'm saying, and whatever else I can get out of it. Or even here, look at how they look. Look, Aborigine right here. We don't know where the people. These still copper colored people. What's this? More Aborigines. Look at that. I'm still with y'all. Hold on. I'm just trying to just go through some stuff. Now look at how the people look on the island of Espanol. Them are fucking afros, man. Them are not no damn straight hair because listen, somebody with straight hair their hair can't stand up like that. Okay, and this is an island of Espanol. They even showing you what the people look like there. Look. Paraguay. This is a fucking afro right here. These are black people right here. I mean, unless you're retarded, see, they give you these images and then they give you this. They give you the image, and then they give you James Chatter, what he believed. He said the first Americans resembling modern African, Australian, Pacific Islanders. So who do these people resemble? Who do these people resemble? Hmm? Who do you resemble? Who do this resemble? You understand? Like I said, and it goes on and on and on and on and on. Okay? Montezuma. Who do he resemble? Oh, crickets, right? We don't hear nothing, right? We go right here. Look. See this? See this? It says American. This is not no motherfucking Chinese looking Indian. This is a damn Negro. Okay? It says American. And when you see this image right here, best trust and believe. You don't see no Chinese or none of these other people who claim to be you on none of these images. Okay? You don't see none of them on none of these images. So it's telling you who are the real American, whether they like it or fuck not. I don't give a fuck at this point in time. Like I said, this is what American look like. He looked just like Shannon Sharp. And he looked like every other black person that I put next to this damn picture. It says American. All right. So let's see something. See, they getting this mixed up by saying Australian. And that don't mean that these motherfuckers are from Australia. That means Southern. All right, so like I said, man, pretty much you pretty much understanding of what's going on. All right, so where was we at? We was right here, 1813, 1870, 1817, the first Seminole War, 1817, 1818, erupted in Florida as the Seminole Indian tribes defeated the land of runaway slaves. But what runaway slaves? I can't hear y'all. Oh, the runaway slaves was already Indians that was here. But because you think that actually, let's get it correctly. They put that title slave on them. Their titles would be POWs, or not even runaway slaves. See what happens is this, right? I don't even think they was even slaves at that point in time. They moved west. They moved into Florida because they was encroaching and warring against them. So when they claimed that they runaway slaves, because we see the images of what they look like now, and they cannot explain that. So the only way that they can explain why John Horse looked the way he looked is saying he was a runaway African. Okay? And that's straight the fuck up. Like, if you can't understand that, then I don't know how to put it no other way. I don't know how to put it no other way. Let me see what's going on inside the chat room. Yeah, you can't put it no other way. You know what I'm saying? Like my man nonetheless said, he put it the best. This is a fucking crime scene. Okay, America's is a crime scene. Okay. All right. So now we first Seminole War. This is 1817 to 1818. 1820, the Texas Indian War, 1820, 1875. God damn, so they was warring that long? So this is when you get the Alamo and all of the stuff that was happening in Texas. It said was a series of conflicts between settlers in Texas Plain and India. So now what you do is this. All of these countries where these Europeans are prevalent at, you already know that them was indigenous people who was there. Because they moved them out to Oklahoma. It was already black people in Oklahoma too. It was already black people in Oklahoma too. So let's keep it moving. So here we got the Iroquois War. Campaign against the Iroquois Indians, Upper Missouri River, Dakota Territory. 1827, the Winnebago War. It's a Fever River expedition was a small conflict. They say which occurred in Wisconsin between the settlers and led to miners who were trespassing on their land. It say and the Winnebago tribe. Okay, so what do we hear here? Everything is about the land. Okay, everything was about the land. These motherfuckers came here. They was the one trespassing because they weren't supposed to be here. Nobody, if the people in the land told you they don't want you here, how the fuck you gonna force them? The same thing they did with the pipeline. Them people, but they know them people don't own shit. That's why they did what they did. But shit, they did the same shit. Obviously to us too. So you know what I'm saying. Even if we was in war and war, it's 1830, 1832. Black Hawk War occurred in northern Illinois. Now, what I told you, Illinois. How many L's is in Illinois? 3. Okay, they just added the S to it. Well, actually, they added the O and the S. It was Illinois. It was Illinois. It was Illinois. All right. The southern western Wisconsin and native Indian Sauk and Fox tribes were led by Chief Black Hawk. Okay, Chief Black Hawk. Okay, in an attempt to retake their homeland. So why would they need to attempt to retake their homeland if these people were so given? Why? So people come here from another country where the country was fucked up, then they come here and then they want what you got. Just like the devils that came here in the fucking in the late 1800s that was doing all them lynchings and all that shit. Same thing, same exact thing. Okay. All right. So 1832, the Department of Indian Affairs is established. So this, hey, look, 1832, Department of Indian Affairs are established, and the people who built the Indian Affairs was a bunch of mulattoed or amalgamated Indians that basically crossed all their fucking people. Okay, 1834, the first Dragon expedition of 1834, also called the Dodge Leavenworth expedition. The Pawnee expedition was the first official contact between the government and the Plain Indian, including the Pawnee and the Comanche. 1835, the Creek, Alabama uprising. 1835 to 1837 in Alabama and Georgia along the Chattahoochee. Remember, my man, the motherfucker, the nigga who was found in the Chattahoochee River was the motherfucking scientist for the CDC. He was found in the Chattahoochee River. Remember, it say which resulted in the defeat of the Creek forces and the removal of the Creek people of their native land. Now, just think of it like, matter of fact, you know what? It say in present day Oklahoma, it say see the Trail of Tears. We ain't going no trail because we already touched on the Trail of Tears. All right. So, all right, boom. We're gonna touch on this though. We're gonna touch on Osceola. All right. So 1835, Second Seminole War, 1835, 1842 in Florida, Upper Chief Osceola. Osceola was a Negro. These images, because look. Let me show you something. Hold up. Where was we at? Let me see something. Hold up. Bear with me, y'all. Now, hold up. This is bullshit. You know how I know Osceola was a Negro? Because they will lie to you and show you a fake picture of John Horse, even though that they got, now this supposed to be Osceola, a fucking cracker. How did this motherfucker go from in the 1800s, this is how John Horse looked. How the fuck did he become looking like this? Because it's a fucking lie. They lying. They painted these pictures to make them look like that. But you got, Black Seminole. Well, the word Seminole means maroon. None of these people look maroon to me. Maroon is another complexion color. See, they was describing you by complexions, man. That's it. Maroon, okay? Maurice, man, listen, this shit go on and on, man. You got to be able to understand this shit. This ain't what I'm looking for. Let me see something. It's like this right here. It's a Mozart was black. Seriously, stop. See, they put this cracker right here and then give you a fucking white person. Ain't no fucking white person that do no damn symphony. He taught that by us, or even how to conduct music, because they ain't even had that energy inside them. Let me see something. I spelled it wrong. My bad, y'all. Look, Why would they be black Seminoles? Oh, because the runaway black slaves mixed with the. So you want me to believe? So this is what. All right. So look, let's just go back to our brain again, okay? Because you got to use your brain in this shit, man. You got to. You got to use your brain, okay? Now look. Now they want you to believe that this is a Negro, right? Both of these are Negro. They want you to believe that they got him in the back because these are the real Indians, and he dressed up as a slave. Look, they got him dressed up like he's a slave and shit, and they got them. So look, this Seminole Gitsi, these are more. Look, Seminole Indian. Look, and his wife. Huh. Lying motherfuckers, man. And you gotta curse, man, because this shit is sickening, man. It's fucking sickening, bro. This shit is fucking sickening. Okay, it's sickening. So any Indians who got any black color to them are deemed as Africans, and they know. Let's go back to this one more time. Okay, it say the early American specimen discovered so far have smaller and shorter faces and longer and narrower skulls than later modern Native Americans closely resemble people in China, Korea, and Japan. But the oldest skeletons do not. Okay, so who do it say more closely resemble the modern people of Africa, Australia, South Pacific Island? So if they're telling you that these people was already here, right? They giving you a description of what the people look like according to the findings here. If they found other stuff here, then they would have automatically reported it. But obviously, they didn't find none of these skeletons here. That's the reason why they never reported it. Okay? That's the reason they never reported it. Now you have to see them. Who do they resemble? Africans, Australians, and South Pacific Islanders, right? That's who they resemble, right? Now we know the Seminoles you do see with straight hair, we know where the fuck they came from because it was a mixture and they still was dark skinned. Okay? And they still was dark skinned. A lot of these people was invaders. Even when you see this original picture of this shit right here, this picture is way darker, man. Let me see if I can find an original one. Look. Some devils, man. Like real talk. The original picture. Look. Let me see something. Now look, check this out. Say nothing but a fucking Spaniard who made it. A Spaniard probably how they call that, Melungeon or whatever, that married a dark-skinned person. And that's the reason why you see all these funny looking ass people. These ain't even the indigenous people. They're not the indigenous people. And then understand this too, that a lot of them people are on them reservations now. Look at this motherfucker. He look just like a fucking Hispanic. He just like a damn Mexican or something. Lying motherfuckers, man. Let's get back to work, man. All right, so what was that? All right, Osceola. All right, let's click on this. Let's read this. All right. Now, we know damn well this ain't no fucking Osceola. We know Osceola, the Seminole mean maroon, so we know that Osceola had to be of a darker hue and more looking like John Horse would look. Okay, but see, they didn't figure out you was gonna find the images of John Horse. So then you got to go back and you have to understand everything. So all right, so who was Osceola? It say, and why was this native Indian or Aboriginal Indian chief famous? Summary: Osceola from 1804 to 1838 was the famous leader of the Seminole tribe, a branch of the Creek tribes. Okay, a branch of the Creek tribe who were, now remember, they saying that the Yamasee was Seminoles, the Gullah was Seminoles, as well as the Creek was Seminoles. It said, excuse me. It said he led the Seminole resistance against efforts to remove them from Florida and Indian Territory and Oklahoma. Osceola was imprisoned by General Joseph Hernandez. Okay, Hernandez. Mystery surrounded his death on January 31st, 1938. Osceola is said to have died either by an attack of Quincy, I don't know what the fuck that, or his own will, or was poisoned. Okay, or was poisoned. The same thing they did to Apechitinu. Okay, so let's see. These are just some facts about them. They say mixed parentage, Creek and English. See, look. Mixed parents, Creek and English. So this right here is this is what they want you to believe he looked like. Okay? But it's saying mixed parents, Creek and English. We know that the Creek was Negroes. Okay? They say, well, all right, we know Negroes is another slave word, but that's to give you an identity of what these people look like. It say he was raised in a Creek tribe. Okay? It say alternative name is Osceola. It say meaning black water. Why the fuck would they name somebody that's fucking look like him after Black Water? He was also named Little Al. Okay, it say language Muskegon. It's saying English. All right. Say place of birth, Tallahassee, Alabama. Okay. Let's read some of this, man. All right, see, many members of the Creek tribes was displaced from Alabama during the 1700s. Why was they displaced? Because they was coming in trying to take their land and had moved to Florida. Now, check this out. See, now they telling you something different. Many of the Creek tribes was displaced. So these displaced Creek tribes are the people they telling you black runaway slaves. It say from Alabama during the 1700s and had moved to Florida over time. These people formed their own tribe that is known to be the Seminole. The Seminole name meaning separatists. Get the fuck out. Separatists from the Creek tribes in the early 1700s and the settlers in the former territory of the Alapache and Florida, where they joined black runaway slaves. Really? Other Aborigines. Remember what the original Aborigines look like. Remember, we don't need to even go. All these people they telling you are black and now classified. All these Indians that they telling you are black and now it's classified as African American. Now these motherfuckers they showing you right here, right? These people they showing you are on these fucking reservations. All these motherfuckers on these reservations. That's the reason why they look the way they look. And then they show you these images, say, oh, well, this is what the Indians look like. Well, is that what the Indians look like? Huh? Let's see something. Is that do any of these people fit do any of these people look like this right here? I ain't got this picture neither. I need this. Do any of these people look like crickets, right? Do any of these look at how his hair, look at how their hair look, right? And then look at Power Hotson. Look at how he look. Okay? Now, even though these are some dark-skinned brothers right here as well, but they look more like this bastard right here. Okay, none of these people are people. These are people who assimilated into the society, man. Because they give you the image of what these people look like. Okay? And even when you click on this, talking about black Seminoles, the Yamasee. These are Yamasee right now. But they giving these people a hard time. They giving them a fucking hard time. That's the whole purpose. That's why you see this image right. These are Indians, man, fighting against them. That's all these. They told you what the war was about. The war ain't had nothing to do with slaves. So why would these motherfuckers look like this then? Because they telling you that the Yamasee was warring in a Revolutionary War. Look at this right here. What happened to that Indian? Like I said, man, the gig is up. You know what I'm saying? I mean, like I said, the gig is fucking up, man. You've been hiding our history all this time, lying to us, telling us that we was from Africa and all this other goofy shit. Yo, give me 1 second. Let me answer my phone. All right, so I'm back, y'all. That was somebody. All right, so look. Even when you go here, black Indian slave narrative, a fucking lie. There was no black Indian slave. Now look, remember that picture? I don't know if I can open this up. No, I can't open up. Remember that picture? This is the real picture of it. All they did was lighten the image up. That's it. They calling this an American. Don't worry about the hair, man. When your hair grow long, you can put bare fat in it or anything. Okay, now look. What I told you, the cornucopia. You see this? Look at this guy. Look at this guy. Look at him. Yeah, buddy. You lying motherfuckers. Yeah, buddy. Look. Yeah, buddy. Look. Look at his hair. Little brother right here. All his brother did, see, when you look at this brother right here, you're like, oh shit, he got straight hair. No, he don't. He just got long hair and put oil in it. Or put some type of, like how we do when we got waves. When an Aborigine hair could be nappy as a fucking African. And all he had to do is train his hair, put a little oil in it. Next thing you know, he got waves that look like the fucking ocean. Okay, and we are the only people who do this, even to this day, even after following Madam C.J. Walker. Why do you think she made all these hair products? Because that was already in your family. Okay, she didn't invent nothing. They was already here. Look at this guy right here. Look at this. His hair is not straight. They just want you to believe his hair is straight. This is not his real hair. This is not his hair straight. This man can get an afro just like anybody else. It's probably just blowed out. Okay. I said, man, these motherfuckers been lying the whole time, man. They trying to confuse you with what they giving you what an Indian look like. That's what the whole thing is. And then when they do give you the Indians that look like Negro, they try to say, he's a fucking what's his name? This is an African that mixed with a so-called Aborigine. I mean, this is African mixed with a so-called Aborigine. Okay, look at the Choctaws. Straight up. Now look at this. Now, I'm not saying that this is how he really looked, but this had to be a Negro, man. Because I even heard stories about how strong Negroes was, that they was able to pick up fucking cattle, man. Understand what I'm saying? This would be a Negro doing this, man, picking up an alligator. And I mean, you know what I'm saying? Let me see something. All right, let's get busy, man. Fuck it. We down the rabbit hole already. We already in the rabbit hole, so. My favorite picture, one of my favorite pictures right here. The fuck is this? I didn't click on that. Just give me a second for it to load. So look, use your brain, people. Okay, use your brain. Use the brain that you got. Okay. Now look, if when they came here, and even like James Chatter says, the oldest skeletons resemble what we believe to be African, right? But this might not even be an African either. This might be another indigenous person from the Americas, okay? Because remember, we know in all places they wasn't wearing their hair long like that. We know that. And how can we tell? How do you know that autonomous one? How do you know that they was not wearing their hair long like that? How do I know that? Because you got images like this. That's how I know that. Look, look, look. This is a motherfucking black woman right here. Look at this brother right here. These are man. Look, it says Indians of New Netherland, 1671. It's also known as New York Public Library Digital Gallery Image ID 80 68 81. All right. So look, we know this Montanez work right here. They showing you more Negroes with afros, bro. That's how you know that these people are fucking liars. Straight liars, straight liars. All the images that I see are Negroes. That's it. The gig is up, and the larger majority of the real Indians are classified as African Americans, and then they give these fake people, all of these people you see, they give these people your titles, man. None of these people had nothing to do with no Thanksgiving. None of these people had nothing to do with the politics. It wasn't even no Mongoloids on the southeast, northeast side. And like I said, I'll put some money on that when it comes down to the history. Let me see something. Hold up. I just seen something. Now look, even when you see this, they try to make this picture light and shit. They try to make the picture light when you see Delaware Indian. Now remember, they got the same image like this of show you what a Petra Chanu look like. You see this? This is a fucking Negro, man. It's a Negro. Let's stop playing, all right? But see, you think an Indian look like this bastard right here. He will tell you that you're not an Indian. But you know why he would tell you you're not an Indian? Because your dumb ass gave your nationality up and then you scared to claim it back. That's why he would tell you not an Indian. That's why. You fake ass fucking Indians, man. Look at these guys. And this nigga right here always in the movie right here playing a fucking Indian. And they put these same Indians everywhere. So let me ask you a question. Do any of these motherfuckers right here resemble African? Do any of them resemble African? Yes or no? Yes or no? Do they resemble African? No, they do not. Let's stop the games, all right? All right, let's get back into this, man. Y'all got me drifting off this shit. All right, so where was I at? All right, so it say joined the black runaways. Remember, they wasn't no black runaway. It says Seminoles were one of the 5 civilized tribes. Now, remember, it gets told you Osceola mother mixed with a British, with a Briton, with somebody, with a European, basically. All right, so that kind of maybe what enhanced it and made them the 5 civilized tribes. All right, they said, remember, for them to be civilized, they had to have white blood in them. It say the Seminoles was one of the 5 civilized tribes where nations of native Indians were assimilated. Hold up, let's read this again, y'all. It says the Seminole were one of 5 civilized tribes where nations of Native or Aboriginal Americans who had assimilated. Let's look up what the word assimilate means, man, because we got people out here who really want to know. Let's see what this means. Assimilate. It's a past tense, assimilated, past particular principle, assimilated. It's a take in information, idea, or culture and understand fully. It's a cause something to resemble, or no, resemble. I mean, resemble. I'm sorry, liking. My bad. All right, that's not the definition I wanted. Definitely, assimilate means to mix you into one, or to make you part of something, or try to get you to assimilate into a society. All right, so I ain't fucking. We already know, man. We already know what it means. Fucking, we don't need to go no further. But, all right, so it says American Aborigines who had assimilated cultural lifestyles and customs of white colonists and settlers. What did you do? You assimilated cultures of lifestyles, customs of white colonists and settlers. How do you know? Your last name is Jackson. How do you know? You don't eat none of your indigenous shit. How do you know? You got these sellout coon ass niggas out here who will sell you the fuck out just for trinkets. And them are the descendants of their ancestors who did the same thing. These same people tell, I work hard. Oh, I'm just doing my job, and you don't know what your real job consists of. All right. So let's say I'm gonna read that one more time. It says we're gonna read this one more time. Okay. The Seminoles were one of the 5 civilized tribes where nations of Aborigine Americans were under, no, hold on, I'm sorry, my bad. It's where Aboriginal Americans who had assimilated cultural lifestyles, customs of white colonists and settlers. The Seminoles Americans say were under the so-called Spanish rule, but involved in several major conflicts with the United States, conflicting including the War of 1812 and other conflicts between 1817 1818. Look at that devil again. General Andrew Jackson retaliated and invaded Florida with more than 3,000 men to punish the Seminole tribes. Okay? It says the 1830 Indian Act was passed. It said treaties were broken, and in 1835, the Seminoles, led by Chief Osceola, participated in the Seminole War. So why did they participate in them? Because of the broken treaties. So let's go right here. I got something else pulled up real quick right here. So we're gonna read something. Yo, this is a heavyweight jam, y'all. So just know that, all right? This is a heavyweight jam, and we doing this in the daytime, all right? All right, just give me a minute for this to load up. But yeah, this is a heavyweight jam. And this is just a regular article. This ain't no empirical or none data, but understand that whoever derive information from people who do got peer review, research, and historical documents. All right. So just understand that. Just because you see the images with all this Google, with all this stuff on it, don't let it throw you off. All right. So it says broken treaties, cultural genocide, and murder. Here are 5 ways the U.S. has given thanks to the Aboriginal Americans. You know how they gave thanks to us, by giving you the last name Jackson, Jones, Edwards, etc. The urban legend about Thanksgiving is about Native American who helped save the Pilgrims, who had a rough start to their settlement. It say once they had a bountiful harvest, they invited the native neighbors over a few nice dinner parties to give thanks to God. It say that story has been soundly refuted by actual accounts of the day. But saying and understanding, we still celebrate the holiday. See it went down. Now remember, I got 2 videos on Thanksgiving and what happened. So if you want to check it out in depth, go back and take a look at it. All right. So it say after that, however, the friendly relationship between Native American white settlers was over. It's saying what followed was 300 years of some of the most heartbreaking and distasteful action the United States have ever committed. Okay, but now, oh shit, oh, this is the best nation, make America great again. Oh shit, I'm so happy all these immigrants come here and don't know nothing about this shit, and they don't even care. They don't even give a fuck. All right. So here we go. And say, while there are hundreds, here are 5 huge ones. Stolen land from the day we landed. No, from the day they landed. Okay, from the day they landed in 1492 until today. Aboriginal Americans are still fighting over their land. It's a proclamation was signed by King George III of England in 1763, prohibiting any English settlement from pushing further west of the Appalachian Mountains, saying everyone already. No, I'm sorry. Let me read that again. It say we're pushing It say, all right, it say prohibiting any English settlement from pushing further. So he made a proclamation prohibiting means stopping any of the English from pushing further west of the Appalachian Mountains. And we know where the Appalachian at. Yo, do your research on that. Cause like I said, it's a heavyweight jam, so I got a lot of stuff going on. All right, say, and everyone already there would be required to move back east. So he's saying that the people who was already further west had to move back east. So this King George III, it say even across the Atlantic Ocean, King knew there was tensions between native and settlers. Unfortunately, the king had no real way of enforcing it. Say, in 13 years later, the colonists fled the Declaration of Independence, and the wars with the English was on. All right. So look, let me see something. So that kind of like, you know, even when you hear a story about that, right? It's kind of giving you an idea, but even over there, them people crossed him because they like, what? Nah, all that shit over. Now we need that. So they crossed him. They crossed him. They say one of the worst and most disgusting things happened in 1829. Decision by the Supreme Court in Jackson and MTOX, whatever. They say the court ruled that the U.S. government could sell Native Americans land to non-Native people out from under their tribe. How the fuck you gonna sell something you don't own? It say, believe it or not, they was actually trying this. The decision begun a set of rules under the Marshall Court and the outline what is now referred to the doctrine of discovery. It's basically a set of Western laws that allow the legal framework to take land from the Aboriginals. Now they got the word Aboriginals in here. Okay. Now in none of the article you want to see that word. Okay. Let's read this again. The decision begun a set of ruling under the Marshall Court that outline. Hold up, real quick. Let me make sure I'm on point. Let me make sure y'all still with me. Make sure everything is still working. All right, y'all can hear me. One person gets press 1 just to let me know whether or not y'all can hear me or not. All right, y'all can hear me. I mean, I got to wait. I had to kind of wait because every time I go back to the channel, I gotta kind of catch up with let me see. All right, so we still good, I guess, right? We still good. Y'all still hear me? All right, bet. Let me see. I don't think. Let me see. All right, thanks. All right, so we back. So where was I at? I was right here. So we're gonna read through this shit. All right, so it say the decision begun a set of rules under Marshall courts that outline what is known or what is now referred to as the doctrine of discovery. Is basically a set of Western laws that allowed the legal framework to take the land from the Aborigines and put them under perpetual servitude. United States citizen, American. You're no longer American. The Europeans claim to be American, and you're a United States citizen. Mean you are a fucking slave. Mean you are a subject of the United States, nigga. You're not. It's a fucking corporation. All right. So it said take the land from the Aborigines living on it because it was discovered by European Christian monarchs. The logic conclusion that no, it say the logical conclusion that you can't discover something if someone already lives there was basically thrown out, and thanks to Marshall Court. Look up Marshall Court. Let me write that name down because I never heard of that word name before. Let me get my ink pen real quick. Marshall Court. Let's when I get a chance, yo. And I'm probably gonna do some research on them. All right. So the Marshall Court, it say who knows why they even bothered with paperwork. It isn't like they was going to be stopped anyway. Why they bother with paperwork? Because remember, the pen is mightier than the sword. And like I said, I've been using this term for years. So this ain't nothing these new weirdos just came up with. All right. Okay. Say, remember, the pen is mightier than the sword. Okay. All right. It says, all right, I'm back here. It say, who knows why they either bother with paperwork because they had to make you sign it over on paper so it could be legitimate. It said it isn't like there was going to be stopped anyway. All right, so boom. I'm gonna read through a little bit of this and we're gonna go back into this, man. Like I said, it's a heavyweight jam, y'all. All right, so number 2, Andrew Jackson. You niggas fight and kill over $20 bill, and the bastard that's on a $20 bill is a motherfucker responsible for declassifying and the genocide of your own people. All right, so it's saying this immigration should be voluntarily. It say for it would be as cruel as compel that the Aborigines to abandon the graves of their fathers and seek a home of distant land. Abandoned the graves of their forefathers and see what was the graves. All these places where these mounds that ain't nobody living in. But distinctly informed, if they remain within the limits of the state, they must become subject to their laws. Man, the fuck? Like, let me read it again. But they should be distinctly informed that if they remain within the limits, they will be subject to their laws. Okay? The people in the South now who been classified as Negroes, black, and colors did not leave their land because they stayed and was subject and gave their nationality up and kept it word of mouth. Now he's telling you it was millions of black people. So how the fuck is only 2,000 so-called Indians that was marched to fucking Oklahoma? Because it's bullshit. Okay, so let's keep it moving, y'all. All right, let me see something. What was I at? All right. It say, but they should be distinctly informed that they remain within the limits of the states. They must be subjected to their laws. Andrew Jackson states in the Union of 1829. Now, look, y'all need to get that right there, y'all. You know what? Let me write this down, man. Give me a sec, y'all. Let me start writing some of this information down, y'all. All right, so the State of the Union. I mean, we touched on this before, but like I said, some of this stuff just pops out to me as we go along. The State of the Union 1829. What was that other bastard name? All right, Marshall Court. My bad. All right, we're gonna look that motherfucker up. Marshall Court. All right. So, all right, there was plenty of presidents that did horrific things to the Aborigines, but for the most part, Washington and Jefferson honored the idea of native sovereignty. President Andrew Jackson did not. Now, they're trying to say Washington because, like I said, I believe Washington was an Aborigine. I believe that the original Washington was an Aborigine because they try to tell you that the original George Washington was killed on a battle, and then they show you these other images. And remember what I told you, all these images they show you, the people with ponytails or whatever, was Aborigines, man. It's Aborigines. All right, so look, so it say, all right, Jackson did not. It say on May 13, we already know Congress passed the Indian Removal Act, gave power to the president to negotiate the removal of Aborigines and force them west of the Mississippi River. Jackson signed it into law. How the fuck could you make a law and make people get off their land? Negotiations begin. 1831, Georgia tried to pass a law that prevented Native Americans from being within the border of their state. 1833, Florida actually passed the same law. They all passed the same law. It said the Cherokees took Georgia to court and demanded the injunction to prevent the forced removal of their tribes from their state. And in Cherokee versus Georgia, the Supreme Court ruled that the tribal lands was not sovereign and were essentially a ward of federal government. This shit this shit is disgusting, bro. I mean, we already touched on it. I already got videos talking about Thomas Andrew Jackson. All right, so it said you would have to thought that 1832 legal battle would not remember Major what's the fucking bastard name? Major Ridge is the motherfucker who signed that treaty. All right, so let's go down. It say Jackson didn't care between. No, my bad. I'm off. It say Jackson proposed to the Cherokee tribe that they move to Oklahoma, then call Indian Territory. The Cherokee said, "Fuck you, no." Jackson didn't care. Between 1830 and 1850, he offered the forced removal of the Cherokee, Chickasaw, Chickasaw, and Muskegee, the Creek, and the Seminole people. It was called the Trail of Tears because people suffered disease, starvation, exposure, and more than 10,000 died. Education of congenital re-education. This shit right here is talking about us. But the most even more. The re-education of cultural genocide. Let me go back up. All right, the re-education of cultural genocide. Natives were considered savages when they fought back against the government, attempting to steal their land, kill their people, and force them to move. That those were marched to what is now Oklahoma was considered 5 civilized tribes because they didn't fight back the way many others did. They agreed to assimilate into some white culture. So when I tell you that this whole shit is an assimilation, it is. It is an assimilation. All this shit is an assimilation. You've been assimilated into a false reality that only benefits the so-called people who made you assimilate into it. All right. So where was he at? All right. It say they agreed to assimilate into white culture for the fear of being killed by the government. But the United States government took a step further when they started opening up boarding schools where Native children were sent and taught how to be Christian, relinquish their heritage, forgotten their tradition, and act more white. Now check this out. Now hold the fuck up, right? If they did this to Indians, right, or the people who look like, right, if they did this to the people who look like this, right, I don't see, honestly, let's be for real, I don't see none of these people walking around who don't know who they are. I don't see that. And like I said, these phony motherfuckers, man, I don't see none of these people walking around who don't know who they are. Even though right now they might have went to a school or Christian school. Remember, when I was coming up, they were sending us to Catholic schools. Why? Why they were sending all these black kids to Catholic school? Why everybody who thought they had money, oh, you go to a private Catholic school, you thought you was we got St. Benedict's, we got all these Catholic schools in America or whatever. And what it is, it ain't nothing but a mind program, ain't nothing but a fucking a mind control program. That's all it is, man. Let's get back to this, man. And that's what you see. You don't see that, and that's the biggest thing. You don't even see none of them motherfuckers with the last name of these Europeans. You don't. You don't. Let me read it again. They say, but the United States took it a step further when they started open boarding school where Native children were sent and taught to be Christians, relinquish their heritage, forget their traditions, and act more white. Richard Pratt, an army officer, when he began building the schools that would teach Native children, Aborigine children, he said he developed the idea of an Indian prison. It said his philosophy. His philosophy he described was simple: kill the Indians, save the man by killing the Aboriginal tradition and upbringing their children. Their hope to begun ridding the country of what is considered the savage behavior. So when you snap back into that savage behavior, what do they do to you? You fill in the blank. Okay, it says most of these children encounter what can only be described as abuse. They were beaten and put in, probably, you know, if they was beaten, you already know what they was doing. They was molesting them and everything, bro. It's saying put isolation until they submitted to the ways of white people. All right. So, all right. My bad, y'all. I lost my train of thought. I told you my daughter, a little cousin here, they running around. So, all right, y'all. All right. We almost, man. Treaties were made with Aborigine Americans. They say over the last several hundred years, and over 370 of which had to do with land. All were broken or changed. Let's go back. Let's read this one more time for you retards. All right. Over 500 treaties were made with Aborigine American tribes over the last several hundred. Sorry, y'all. It's over 100 years, and over 370 of which had to do with all was broken and changed. Okay, all right. It says as what to say. As CJ says in the video, it say how to keep fighting these smaller injustices when they're all from the mother of injustice. Now they got these Europeans trying to help you gain your shit back when they the same one who crossing you. Okay, now look. All right. It say for the moment that Columbus discovered a place that already existed, Native American began to die. It say whether the old world diseases, smallpox, and measles battle with the government soldiers and outright murder, the population declined to 96%, which is probably did. It probably did decline the 96%. This is the right reason you only see 8 million of us on the fucking on the census. They probably really did kill almost 90% of the people. Because look, think of it like this, right? And let's be smart about this shit, right? We know that the census is not correct, right? And we know, like I said, we know a lot of this information is not correct. But if they telling you in 1492, Columbus came here. The Europeans did not come here to win. 1590 and in the 1600s. When did they say that they came to Jamestown? 1606. All right. So you telling me from 1590 until what we want to say? Let me see. 1590. So hold on, what the fuck? Oh shit, this shit set me all the way back, y'all. My bad. Let me see something. Is it this one? No, I gotta go all the way down. Y'all, my bad, y'all. Just bear with me. I'm still with y'all. I'm just trying to scroll down. Give me a second. All right, here we go. All right here. So when we go down, we see 750,000 so-called blacks, 3 million, 3 million so-called whites. All right. So when we go up, it's set 1890, we see almost 8 million. Okay. Even though it's 7.5 million, it's closer to 8 million. Okay. Because as you see, the numbers go up. And this is not because of the mating, because you figure like this you figure in 10 years the population is jumping up like that. I mean, maybe so, maybe not. I think it's the people that they making assimilate into. What did they say? What did they say here? You gotta understand something. That give you a greater understanding of what they're talking about. Now I said you use these basic tools and you could pretty much understand, man. You could pretty much understand what's going on. You know what I'm saying? It says, but the United States took it a step further when they opened up boarding school. They sending people to boarding school. It said where Native children, where they send you now? If you bad, they send you to a boarding school where Native children were sent and taught how to be Christian and relinquish their history. It say relinquish their history. It say forgot their tradition and act more white. Okay, so what was they doing? They was trying to fucking put you under servitude. That's the whole thing. Okay, that's the reason why you don't know who you are, and these fake ass Indians know exactly who they are. All right, so let's just get back to the wars. All right, so we was at Osceola. All right, so the timeline. Let me see something. All right, so the following Osceola time chart, the life of famous Seminole chief and his fight to prevent the Seminole native Indians move to the reservation. So they was fighting to stay home. So 1804, so we read that. Let me just fast it up a little bit. Let me fast it a little bit. All right, 1814, the Red Stick Creeks were defeated by Battle of Horseshoe Bend. It's in Alabama, by General Andrew Jackson, and the U.S. troops started to burn all the Red Stick villages. The surviving Red Stick Creek Indians, including Osceola and his mother, fled and headed towards Florida. Yo, excuse me for a minute. Imani, come here. What? Sit down. Y'all sit down in there. Stop playing, sit down, okay? Watch TV. And stop closing that door. You can crack the door, but don't close it, okay? Monty, you can crack the door, don't close it, okay? Sorry, y'all. My daughter and I'm still running around. All right, so what was we at? All right, so all right, so look, boom. So it says the surviving Red Creek, the creek. It says Indian, including Osceola and his mother, fled to Alabama and headed towards Florida. In 1815, Osceola and his mother found sanctuary with Seminoles of Florida. Now, like I said, I ain't gonna go no further. They found sanctuary with Seminoles of Florida, which was under the Spanish rule. It say Florida has become a reference for runaway slaves. Nah, runaway what slave? Runaway Indian slaves or Indian POW, fugitive Native Aboriginal American smugglers and criminals of all kinds. Tension between the United States and Spanish Florida has begun to escalate. General Andrew Jackson invaded Florida in pursuit of the Seminole Indians, which sparked the start of the First Seminole War. 1870, 1880, General Andrew Jackson come into conflict with inhabitants of Florida and burnt down native villages. Okay? General Andrew Jackson was a fucking devil, yo. He was a straight devil. And even after they killed Lincoln, they took land from the freemen in the South. Okay, it wasn't just enough to fucking put you under perpetual servitude. It was taking your land too. All right, so 1819, the United States acquired Florida from the Spanish. How the fuck can they acquire something from the Spanish? Via Adam Onis Treaty, aka the Florida Treaty, 1823, Treaty of Moultrie. It's a creek is signed by which the U.S. seized the northern Seminole land. Osceola and his mother moved with the Seminole tribe deeper into the central of. They were just taking all the land from people, bro. And even they doing the same thing. Look, they build shit everywhere. Everywhere they putting a building at, all in the name of commerce. 1830 to 1830, the Indian Removal Act was passed, and that started to force removal of Aborigines from their homeland to reservations. How the fuck you gonna move somebody off their natural land when you're not from here and put somebody on the fucking reservations? Okay, 1832, the Treaty of Payne did require all Seminole natives to leave Florida within 3 years of the Indian Territory. It say now Oklahoma. Osceola was living near present-day Osceola, I guess Oslo. It say was the leader of the Seminole resistance movement against their forced relocation. Forced relocation, right? All right. They say 1833, a few Seminole chiefs endorsed the Treaty of Fort Gibbon. It say by which the Seminole relinquished all claims to their lands. That's what these treaties was. These treaties was you was turning your land over, or either you was gonna stop fighting and you was gonna share the land with them. It say relinquish all claims to the land of the Florida territory in return for reservation in the center of Florida. 1833, Osceola and many other Seminoles disagree with the treaty that has been made. Osceola sees opportunity to unite the dissenting young young Seminoles under his leadership. 1834, Osceola vowed to the U.S. Indian agent General Wiley Thompson that any Seminole chief who prepared to relocate would be killed. Bastard. 1835. It said on December 23, 1835, Seminole Indian ambushed the column of the United States Army troops. It was called Dade Massacre. It say when two U.S. companies of 110 troops were under Major Francis Longhorn Dade were killed. 1835. On December 28, 1835, Osceola and his followers ambushed and killed General Wiley Thompson and sent 6 others outside the fort. 1835, the Battle of Olichi. I can't pronounce that. Sorry, y'all. It says was fought December 31st, 1835, and claimed as a victory for Osceola and the Seminoles Indians. All right, so like I said, I read this, you get a better understanding. The Battle of Whipple Swamp. Weehole Swamp. It say fought in November 21st, 1836, under the Seminole leadership of Billy Bowley, resulting in the retreat of the U.S. troops and in the victory of the Seminoles. 1836, many large plantations were burnt. It say and settlers killed by the end of 1836, and all one house in what is now a Miami-Dade and Broward County has been burnt by Seminole Indians. 1837, General Thomas Jessup, it said, arranged for peace talk with Osceola near St. August, Florida. It was a trap, like they always did, just like they did the Maroons. The Maroons was living there peacefully. The English wanted to come there and take their land. They started warring with them. So they said, oh, we waved the white flag. They tried a treaty with them, crossed them, and sent them to Nova Scotia. And then from Nova Scotia, they went to fucking Sierra Leone. Okay? All right, let's read this again. General Thomas Jessup arranged. You know what? Hey, look, hold up 1 second. Y'all gotta go do something real quick. Just give me 1 minute, okay? Hey, buddy. Room and sit down. Let's don't make a mess. It's all. Ronnie, I told you about the door. No. Okay, don't close the door. You got, I mean, but you older, right? Okay then. All right, y'all. I'm back. All right, hold on. Go to the chat room. Make sure y'all can hear me. All right, Jolito. Can y'all hear y'all? I'm back. All right, you press one. No doubt. All right, shout out to everybody in the chat room. Okay, all right. Shout out to everybody in the chat room. Let's get back to it, all right? Try to finish this shit up. All right, so, all right, the Battle of Waho Swamp. It's a fought on November 21st, 1836, under Seminole leadership of Billy Bowlegs. Billy Bowlegs. It's a resulted in a retreat of the U.S. troops. And victory for the Seminole. 1836, many large plantations were burnt and settlers killed by the end of 1886. It's a all but one house in what's now Miami-Dade and the Broward County, it say, had been burnt by Seminole Indians. All right, we read 1837, General Thomas Jessup arranged for peace talks with Osceola near St. Augustus, Florida. It was a trap, and Osceola was captured. He was imprisoned at Fort Marion in St. Augustine before being transferred to Fort Moultrie. It's say on Sullivan Island. It's outside Charleston in South Carolina. Osceola died on January 31st, 1838. Osceola is said to have committed suicide or died from a attack of, I don't know what quince it is, or was poisoned. Indeed. Like I said, man, some of this stuff, man, is real heart-wrenching, man. When you really read it and you really get an understanding of it, man, shit hurt. I mean, and it hurts that they even hide this shit. They don't tell you that this shit was done to you. They give these faces of these people who it was done to, but it wasn't done to them. It was done to us. Who've been forced to assimilate into these cultures? We have been. It just told you if you did not leave the so-called territory, you will be forced to assimilate into their society. Okay, so 1836, Florida-Georgia border wars. 1836, Missouri and Iowa wars. Border war. 1836, Comanche wars. 1837, the Osage Indian wars. Let me see something. Hold on. We go all the way out there. Damn. Yeah, man. It's a lot of wars. You see all these wars? Shit, still going. All right, let's go back up, man. We're gonna finish all this shit. Fuck it. It's for the purpose of education, so we can at least know. All right, so we right here, boom, boom, boom. Comanche Wars. After years of warring, invading Iroquois, the Osage migrated migrated west of Mississippi River to their historical land in present-day Arkansas, Missouri, Kansas, and Oklahoma. The conflict involved the number of battles with the Osage Indians in Missouri. 1846, the Navajo conflict, the New Mexico and Arizona led their forces occupancy of the inhospitable reservation. Okay, it's in 1846, the Cause War. They say the influx of disease and settlers to Oregon, Apache Wars, 1849 through 1924. Then they was warring that motherfucking long, 1849 to 1924. All right, the Jacarla War fought between the Jacarla Apache and the Ute warriors against the Ute warriors against the United States. All right, 1850. They say the Pitt River expedition, California made the Colonel E.A. Stevenson Indian agent to establish relations with the Quamawa or Pit River, Hat Creek. All right, you know what? Y'all, I'm gonna end it right here. We right here. I'm gonna end it right here. I think we've been going a little too far because this shit it's a lot of information with this, man. So I'm gonna make another part to it. I'll probably make it later on. Who knows? Who knows? And just real quick, man, let me just show y'all something real quick. So we touched on that. Let me see this. So they show you what the Seminoles look like. All right, so black Seminoles, Gawler who escaped from slavery. Okay, now the Gawler. Why would they think of it like this, right? If they brought so-called the Gawler here to South Carolina, right? First of all, when did they bring them here? How long did it take them for them to get that name Gawler? And why was they trying to enslave them? Because I would be under the impression that if they was Africans, they was already enslaved. You see how they fucking lie? See, you don't use your brain, so you can't understand that. How would they, listen, figure like this. They said the Gawler are descendants of Africans. The Geechee and the Gawler are descendants of Africans, right? So if they was, why would they be forced into slavery? If they was already slaves when they got here? Why? All right, so black Seminoles are a small offshoot of the Gawler who escaped from the rice plantations of South Carolina, of Georgia. That was their own plantations, man. Ain't no European know how to come here and farm none. They came here and wanted that too. Just like the cotton, tobacco, the gold, every fucking thing. Everything. This is what built white supremacy. And say escape from the rice plantations. That was their own shit. It say in South Carolina and Georgia. They built their own settlement on the Florida frontier for a series of wars to preserve their freedom, saying we're scattered across America. They have played a significant role in American history, but have never received the recognition they deserve. All right. It say some of the Gawler slaves managed to escape the coastal South Carolina and Georgia. Now, how would these people who never been here know where to fucking go? How would they know where to go? What did they tell you? They said most of the runaway slaves was Indians, right? Remember that. They said the majority of the runaway so-called slaves was Indian because they knew the fucking land, right? Now, you got an example of this right here, but these idiots would say, oh, the Gawler and the Geechee, because they practice West African ways. Oh, they do this. Man, get the fuck out of here, man. So, all right. So it says slaves managed to escape from the coastal South Carolina and Georgia south into the Florida Peninsula. In the 18th century, Florida was vast tropical wilderness covered with jungles and malaria-ridden swamps. Malaria-ridden swamps. Malaria? I thought malaria came from Africa. Now they trying to hold the fuck up, man. Hold the fuck up, y'all. Hold up, y'all. Where they tell you why do these idiots talk about, oh, they know they African because they got the sickle cell gene, right? But malaria, they get telling you malaria-ridden swamps. So why would, if it was malaria over here, why would, yo, man, they didn't lie. They didn't pull the switcheroo, man. This shit funny as hell, yo. All right, the Spanish claim Florida, but they use it only as a buffer between the British colonies and their own settled territory. It say further south, they wanted to keep Florida as a dangerous wilderness frontier, so they can offer a refuge to escaped slaves and and renegade Indians from their neighborhoods, South Carolina and Georgia. The Gawler was establishing their own free settlement in the Florida wilderness by at least the late 1700s. They built separate villages. Man, listen, bro, these people's indigenous here, man, and these idiots will tell you some other shit. All right, they built separate villages and trench roof houses. Now, how the fuck did they know how to build this shit unless it was already building it? We seen long houses and stuff all in the South. So they knew how to build this already. It say surrounded by fields of corn and swamp rice, wild rice, y'all, wild black rice, y'all. It say, and they maintain friendly relations with the mixed population. The mixed population was the Europeans that mixed in with the Aborigines or refuge Indian. Why would you have refuge Indian? What was they running from? In a time of two groups came to view themselves as part of the same loosely organized tribe in which blacks held important positions as leaders. Why would Africans that came from another country hold positions as leaders? They didn't know the land. The only people, how could you be a leader if you don't know the territory? Because these are fucking Indians, man. The Gola adapted Indian clothing. Look, oh my God. The Gola adapted Indian clothing. It say while the Indians acquired the taste for rice and appreciation for the Gola music and forlook. Okay. You know what? Give me a second, y'all. Hold up for one more time. All right, so back. Where was we at? Let's get this shit done, man. Let's get reading through this shit right here. All right. So it's a Gola music folklore. They say, but the Gola was physically more suited to the tropical climate. Why would that be? Why would the Gola be more suited for the tropical climate? Use your brain. The possession of indispensable knowledge of tropical agriculture. How would they know about the tropical agriculture if they just came here off a fucking ship? Without their assistance, because and think of it like this, right? They tell you that the Gola they tell you that the Africans mixed with these tribes that was in South Carolina, and that's where the Geechee and the Gola come from. But we know that's not true. You can read this and read between the lines, man. I got a video about the Seminole and the Gola anyway, so you guys want to check it out, go back and check it out. It say without the assistance, they say the Indians would not have been able to cope effectively with how wouldn't the Indians been able to cope effectively in Florida environment if they, yo, man, come on, bro. Come on, y'all gotta use your brain here, man. These people be lying and they put shit in there to confuse you at the same time. The Indians would not be able to cope effectively. So the Africans that came here knew how to go to Florida and the Indians didn't. The fuck out of here. They say with the Florida environment, the two groups led the independent life, the wilderness of northern Florida, rearing several generations of children in freedom. It say, and there recognized American settling the slave owner as their common enemy. The Americans called the Florida Indian Seminoles from the word means Cimarron. It say meaning wild and untamed, and they called the runaway Gola Seminole Negro. Yo, see how they, bro, this shit right here is they lying like a motherfucker, man. They say called them Seminole Indians or Indian Negroes. What did Jack Forbes say the Indians was? They was Negroes. Come on, man, let's stop playing, y'all. Stop fucking playing with me. I did too much research to be reading this shit, and then you still fucking lying. We know that the Indians was called Negroes too. Look in Alicia Coleman book, Let the Blood Stay Pure. She tell you that the Indians may have been called Negroes because they was called Negro. Why was they called Negro? Because the Smithsonian Institute said that the first Americans resemble Africans, Australians, South Pacific Islanders. Period. Okay. The Seminole settlement in Florida increased as more and more runaway and renegade Indians escaped into South. Why did they escape? Because they knew that they couldn't come there in the bush. Okay? Now, this is before any fucking white Cubans or any of them motherfuckers. But guess what? They allowed them white Cubans and all of them to take over Florida when Florida was black territory. Dade County with all them Negroes down there. You understand what I'm saying? So Where we at? All right, so we go down, settlement, it's saying increase more and more runaway slaves and renegade Indians escape south. It's saying conflict with, and remember the pirates too was over there when they talk about the Buccaneers and all that. That was them. That was like the Seminoles and the Gola. That's the when they tell you about pirates and all that, that was robbing them ships. That was a lot of them too. All right, so it says more runaway slaves and renegade Indians escaped south. We say and conflict with the Americans were sooner or later inevitable. There were skirmishes in 1812 and 1816, 1818. General Andrew Jackson led an American. All right, we already read that, man. We don't need to go no further with that. But y'all guys already know, man. You can read between the lines, and you guys want to check this article out. You can check this article out. We already the red, but let me show y'all something. Let me read this right here real quick. They didn't. Hold on, let me see something. All right, I'm gonna read this right here. Let me read this right here. I should have read the whole fucking thing, but damn, yeah, I should have read the whole thing. As I go down, the shit is getting come. All right, so let me go back. I'm gonna read the whole thing, y'all. Fuck it, y'all. All right, so General Andrew Jackson led the American army into the Florida to claim it for the United States, and the war finally erupted. Black and Indians fought. Remember, the blacks are Indians. Fought side by side in a desperate struggle to stop the American advancement, but they were defeated and driven south into the more remote wilderness, say of the central and southern Florida. General Jackson, a later president, referred to the Seminole War as the Indian and Negro War. All right, there ain't no Indians. They made that name up. The Aborigines, the Negroes was just other Aborigines that were classified as that. It's saying 1835. Second Seminole War broke out. It's a full-scale guerrilla warfare would last for at least 6 years and claim the lives of 1,500 American soldiers. The Black Seminole waged a ferocious, a fierce resistance as they feared their capture, and surrender meant death or return to slavery. And so Black Seminoles or return to slavery. Okay, hold on for 1 second. Y'all got to check something real quick. All right, so I'm back. All right, so it's 1,500 American soldiers, Black Seminoles, waged war. I read that. Say return to slavery, saying there were more adept at living and fighting in the jungle than the Indian comrades. How would they more adapt to living in the jungle? How? If they was from Africa. Say the American commander, General Jassop, informed the War Department that informed the War Department that this, you may be assured, is a Negro and not an Indian war. It say, and the U.S. Congressman, hold on, let me read that again. I'm sorry, I said that kind of confusing. It say, you may be assured, is a Indian and Negro and not an Indian war. It's an Indian, is a Negro and not. All right, I'm sorry, yo, I'm read that wrong. My bad. Let me read that one time. It's the American commander, General Jassop, informed the War Department that this, you may be assured, is a Indian Negro. I mean, is a Negro and not an Indian war. So they saying that it was a Negro war and not an Indian war. So why are they telling us all these people who went there was Indians? It say they tell that's a code word telling you that's you, motherfucker. It say in the United States Congressman. It say the period. Of the period. Com, com, committed. Committed these black fighters. I'm sorry, they making a lot of noise in the room, y'all. This shit is kind of destructing me. They throwing shit. Let me hold up. Let me go back in there and tell them be quiet. Hold up. All right, you know how kids is, man. That's why I say a lot of times I do these videos, I be home alone because it be noise and people be like interrupting you. So, all right, so it's a contending against the whole military power of the United States. We almost done, y'all. They say when the Army finally captured the black Seminole officers, refused to return them to slavery, fearing that these seasonal warriors accustomed to their freedom would wreak havoc on southern plantation. In 1842, the Army forcibly removed them along with their Indian comrades. The Indian territories, now Oklahoma, is unsettled west. All right? The fuck is this? All right, so the black Seminoles exiled from their Florida stronghold were forced to continue their struggle and freedom on the west frontier in Oklahoma. The government put them under the authority of the Creek Indians. It says slave owners who tried to cube their freedom. It say the white slave traders came at night to kidnap their women and children. 1850, say a group of black Seminoles and Seminole Indians escaped south across the Texas and the desert badlands of northern Mexico. They established a free settlement, and as in Florida began to attract runaway slaves from their borders. 1855, the heavily armed band of Texas Rangers rolled into Mexico to destroy the Seminole settlement, but black Indians stopped them and forced them back. Them niggas are fucking thorough as hell. All right, so the U.S. We're gonna finish it with this right here. We're gonna finish this last thing. All right, so the Indians soon returned to Oklahoma, but the black Seminoles remained in Mexico, fighting consistently to protect their settlement. And say from masquerading Comanches and Apache Indians. It's say in 1870, after emancipation of slaves in the United States, the U.S. cavalry in southern Texas invited some of the black Seminoles to return and join the army, and it is officially established that the Seminole Negro Indian Scout, Seminole Negro Indian Scout, all right? It's saying in 1875, 3 of the scouts won the Congressional Medal of Honor. It's say America's highest military decoration in a single encouragement with the Comanche Indians and the Pico River. The black Seminoles had fled the rice plantations. It's a built their own free settlement in Florida wilderness and then fought almost continuously for 50 years to preserve their freedom. It's little wonder it's little wonder they should still provide some of the finest soldiers in the U.S. cavalry. All right, give me one more second, y'all. Let me go grab some out the oven. All right, so I'm gonna eat in a minute. So I get done with the video. All right. You want some pizza, man? All right, so I'm back, y'all. Let me see what y'all doing in the chat room, man. Y'all bored? Are we still good, y'all? Y'all can still hear me? Peace to everybody in the chat room, man. Peace to all the Aborigines in the chat room. Hope y'all enjoyed this video. All right, bet. All right, we back. All right. So I'm gonna finish this up. Where the fuck are we at? Right here. All right, we right here. So read this right here. All right. So Negro Indian Scout, 1875. 3 of the scouts won the Congressional Medal of Honor. It's the American highest military. Now understand this too, right? We're all mixing. Why was these people still Negroes? If they was mixing, if the real Indians wasn't Negroes, they telling you that. Why would they still look like Negroes? Why would, if they was mixing it and it was other people, then why they still look like obvious Negroes? So that you telling me the Negro stayed separate from the Indian? Because they fucking lying. All of them was the same fucking people, and the mulattoes was due to the either the Europeans mixing with them or maybe some of the Spanish that was in it. But ultimately, the majority, I say 90 something percent of the Seminoles was Negroes. All right, so. All right, so we read that. We read that. All right, so it said then for almost continuously fulfilled. I read that. All right, so we read this too. So, all right, today there's still small Black Seminole community scattered by war across North America. They say and the West Indies. They say the Black Indians live in Andros Islands in Bermuda. They said where their ancestors escaped from Florida after the first Seminole War. Seminole freedmen, the largest group, live in a ritual Seminole County, Oklahoma, where they still are, where they are still official members of the Seminole Indian Nation, the Muskogos. Let's say dwell in the dusty desert town of Nakaminta. I can't pronounce Nakaminto. It's in the state of Coahuila. I can't pronounce that. Northern Mexico. Y'all know what the fuck it is. Let's say, and finally, the scouts live in Brackettsville, Texas, outside the walls of the I told you, man. Every time they make a noise, that shit interrupt me. Sorry, y'all. To the walls of the old fort where their grandfather served in the U.S. Cavalry. These groups has lost most all contact with one another, but they have retained the memory of their ancestry. They say fight for freedom in the Florida wilderness. In 1978, Dr. Ian Hancock discovered that the elders among the Texas Scouts still speak a dialect of Gullah. 140 years after their ancestors was exiled from Florida, and as much as 200 years after their early ancestors escaped from the rice plantations in South Carolina and Georgia. In 1980, this writer found that elderly people among the Oklahoma Seminole freemen also spoke Gullah, while many young people remember words and phrases once used by their grandparents. It's a both Oklahoma and Texas group. Now understand this too, right? The Gullah language is nothing like none of the West African languages. So they came here and created their own language too. Yo, people, man, these motherfuckers is some lying bastards, man. I work bond, that shit make me mad as hell. It says as much as 200 years after their early ancestors escaped the rice plantations in South Carolina and Georgia, In 1980, the writer found the elderly people among the Oklahoma Seminole freemen also speak Gullah, while many other people remember words, phrases once used by their grandparents. Both Oklahoma and Texas group through deeply conscious of their Florida heritage, was unaware of their connection with the Gullah in South Carolina and Georgia. They did not know precisely where their slave ancestors. See, every black person in here was a slave. This is what they fucking trying to tell you, because they fucking lying. It's saying had come from before fleeing into the Florida wilderness. The Oklahoma Seminole freemen still possess a rich traditional culture combining both African American, combining both Aboriginal American, all right, elements. All right, they not African, bro. They not African. So don't let nobody tell you they fucking African. Lying bastards. All right, it say they continue to eat rice as they're as a characteristic part of their diet, sometimes applying a sauce of okra and spinach leaves. It say like the Gullah as the distinctive relatives. So the distinctive relatives in West Africa. So it just so happens that even here in this country, they got the same thing they got in West Africa. Are you serious? Are you serious? I mean, let's be for real, y'all. All right, man. So with that, I'm gonna conclude this. We stopped right here. I'm gonna go probably. What was I at? I was up some. All right, I stopped like right around here. The car rewards. All right. Yeah, I stopped right here. So I'm gonna go 1850 all the way down when I continue this. All right. I also got a couple other videos. That's what you see all these links for up here. I'm gonna be dressing armor Rock Squad frauds once again. So I got some information up there. For the most part, man, I hope y'all appreciate enjoyed the video, man. Been a long one. I definitely appreciate y'all, man. You know what I'm saying? Definitely appreciate all the Aborigines that's watching. Hopefully y'all appreciate it. Hopefully y'all got something out of it. You know what I'm saying? Definitely, man. Hopefully you can at least find your information. That's right. Shout out to everybody. Shout out Joe 47. Shout out Dark Horse. Shout out Ghost. Damn, it's moving so fast. I can't even damn see it. Y'all niggas moving too fast. Peace, Dane. I see Dane Colloway in there. All right. Red, damn, it's y'all moving too fast, y'all. Shout out to everybody, man. I see Chief Holiday in there. Peace, Chief Holiday. Peace, Blue, Voodoo. It's my dude right there. Shout out to everybody, man. I can't read everybody name that fast because this shit is moving very fast. But Composure, shout out to you, Dark Horse, Rich Stockman, Ashley D. Man, that shit moving fast. Tell James Gilmore. Did I just see Phoenix? South Phoenix, Alicia, Aboriginal girl, Elbora, American Indian. Y'all niggas move fast. Yo, shout out to all the Aborigines, man. And with I'm gonna conclude this, man. I will bring y'all back some more information, man, as soon as possible, man. But you know what I'm saying? I hope y'all enjoyed the video, man. Definitely, man. So with that being said, man, I'm the time to this one, man. You guys do your research, you know what I'm saying? And like I said, man, you get a chance, man. Claim your status, bro. Don't let nobody tell you you're fucking African, bro. Don't let nobody tell you that, because there's too many sources out there telling you that you're not that. So with that being said, man, I am the Tonson this one. Shout out to all the Aborigines in North America who've been classified as Africans and other terms. With that being said, I'm out, y'all. Peace.